Hey, this is Dina. Welcome to the Den. So, guess what movie is finally coming out? Not that I was especially looking forward to Hellraiser Judgment, but that silly thing was in development hell for so long, har har. At least the wait is over for those who are interested in it. But I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. I am doing these in order, and I've got 3 more Hellraiser sequels to go before I get to that one. So anyway, let's just dive right into Hellraiser Deader. Terrible title. Right off the bat, I'm noticing that the last 2 movies had really interesting opening credit sequences, where this one is very minimal. That's not a bad thing, the first few movies were like that, but they had really intense music to make up for it. I still don't think this is a bad thing, just worth noticing. That font could be more interesting though. Huh, Stan Winston was involved in this? In any case, this hallway with an ominous door at the end is going to come up again later. So we open on the aftermath of what must have been one hell of a party. So this lady starts taking pictures.
You want any of this?
I got what I need.
And it turns out that she's a reporter who wrote an article called How to Be a Crack Whore. Some kind of undercover expose on drug culture, apparently. This is Amy, and she works for a London newspaper. She shows up for work late and doesn't bother with a meeting.
Thanks again for your contribution, Klein.
So this is that kind of character who thumbs her nose at authority because she's so cool, and the only reason she doesn't get fired is because she's such a great reporter that they can't afford to lose her.
The arrival of the delightful and world-famous Amy Klein.
Eat me, Charles.
She also looks a little like Angelina Jolie to me.
But this, my dear...
In any case, her boss has a videotape he needs her to look at.
With your encyclopedic knowledge of skankology, have you ever heard of deaders?
Yeah, me. I owe 2 months' salary on my credit cards.
No, not debtors. Deaders.
You know, deader, as in not just regular dead, but extra dead. Like dead, deader, and deadest. Then on the other end of the spectrum, we have mostly dead.
There's a big difference between mostly dead and all dead.
This is something you must see for yourself.
In any case, the video was filmed by a lady named Marla, and it shows footage of a cult who are preparing to do some kind of ritual.
Don't be frightened. I don't like this part.
Say it for me.
My skin isn't real. I'm not real.
Clearly they're about to do something hideous to this poor woman, considering they have her laid down on a plastic sheet.
I'm not.
Or they have her shoot herself in the head. Pretty tame for a Hellraiser movie. So, this guy, who is apparently the leader of this cult, kisses the dead woman and somehow brings her back to life.
Tell me this is some kind of special effect.
Considering that this had to have been filmed with multiple cameras, and someone had to edit it together, and it's even edited in such a way that allows for a ton of cheating, I don't know why either of you think it's real. Come on, movie, if you're gonna go the found footage route, you have to commit to it.
I'm alive. I'm okay.
Anyway, that happened in Romania, and now she has the option to go there undercover and find out what really happened.
You know me too well.
What keeps me up at night?
So of course she accepts and hops on a train. She tracks down the return address from the videotape, and it takes her to a pretty run-down apartment. It smells bad and there are flies. That's not a good sign. She bribes the landlord to let her in for 5 minutes.
Oh. Does it always smell like that in there?
Like what?
Okay, that was funny. Anyway, the place is obviously long abandoned. Almost looked like Frank used to live there. She's about to go in the bedroom, but she spots Marla in the bathroom. Amy quickly goes through her things, finding a journal with photographs of the cult. Before leaving, she goes back into the room with the corpse and finds another envelope that appears to contain another videotape. It takes her a couple tries to get it, but then she spots what the audience probably already noticed, that Marla's dead hand is clutching a lament configuration. Amy pries it out of her hand. Considering how long the movie lingered on that corpse, it was kind of predictable. Naturally, Amy gets the hell out of there. Yeah, I'd need a drink after that, too. Anyway, now in her own hotel room, she opens the envelope. As expected, it contains another VHS tape, but also a key.
Whoever you are, you were meant to find me today.
What, were you born in a barn? Get your feet off the table.
You wouldn't be here if you didn't belong here, too.
Apparently this was Marla's suicide note, which was also a warning to whoever found her body.
I don't know how to get back. He'll expose your own demons to you, and he'll ask you to join him. But don't, because there is no turning back. And above all, don't open the box.
But she tells where to go and to meet someone there.
Please do it for us.
Marla had said not to open the box, so of course Amy's going to do it anyway. Are you sure that's a real lament configuration? It looks like a cheap knockoff. Why are the chains in these later sequels so damn thick? And in this case, they're also CG. Hey, look who's here already.
Don't think for a moment you are not in danger.
And now she seems to have a vision. Remember the door at the end of the hallway in the opening credits? But I guess none of that actually happened.
Hello.
7 days.
Help us, Amy.
So sometime later, she goes to a subway station. I think I know what this person represents, but I'll save it for later since it'd be a pretty big spoiler. Oh my god, if yet another Hellraiser sequel borrows from Jacob's Ladder, I am gonna fucking lose it. Nah, this one doesn't do that. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in this subway train, but it doesn't feel like it's intentionally referencing Jacob's Ladder. Once again, though, there is a hell of a party going on, and wow, you could totally see that guy's junk. There's actually a hilarious amount of TNA in this scene. I know there's supposed to be a big orgy going on, but the movie keeps cutting back to this naked lesbian makeout to the point where it starts to feel kind of forced.
Now here comes a daring soul.
Anyway, she was supposed to meet a guy named Joey, who turns out to be this weirdo.
Amy Klein.
I have to admit, I kind of get a kick out of this guy.
A man named Winter.
The plot thickens. Don't tell me you're mixed up with those motherfuckers.
So she asks him about the debtors.
Some say he's like this fucked up guru. But they all live together in this house, you know, those who believe, I mean.
He seems to know where to find them, but doesn't want to tell her.
You got this fucked up, self-destructive thing going on.
But then she whips out the puzzle box.
And that is making me very unhappy.
Which apparently helps.
Amy Klein! Don't do it.
For what it's worth, he seems genuinely concerned about her.
I got that fucked up, self-destructive thing going on.
Yes, you do. Only he can bring you back.
She's just like, okay, all of that was a thing that just happened. Well, at least she doesn't have to look very far to find the cult leader. This is the guy named Winter who was mentioned earlier. And as he's following her, the visions come back. Think there might be a connection? Well, so much for asking him any questions, I guess.
Where is he?
But they end up not finding a body, so it could be that she was just hallucinating. Especially since she later sees him boarding the train.
Hey! I saw what you did to Marla!
But she doesn't get a chance to catch up to him. Stay classy, cop. The idea of being arrested in a foreign country sounds scary to me, but Amy seems to have made something of a career out of it because she gives no fucks. Anyway, her boss has to come and bail her out.
They were thinking of shipping you off to the government asylum for observation.
She asks why he put her on this assignment.
For the average person, the hunger for knowledge is like the hunger for food. We want to know just enough to take the edge off our appetite. But you are a glutton. You can't help overeating. All that stuff I don't eat, I still want. So I send you in to do the eating for me so I get to experience it without actually suffering any mental indigestion.
Thanks a lot. So I do all the suffering.
Nobody's forcing anything down your throat.
Oh my god, enough with the food metaphors.
You know, there's something vaguely demonic about you, Charles.
Did you know the word demon comes from the Greek word for knowledge?
He's not just pulling that out of his ass. The earliest demons, back before Christianity decided they were evil, were basically teachers. This guy taught moral and natural philosophy. Anyway, after Charles goes home, Amy takes a cab to follow that earlier lead from before she got arrested. Of course it's locked. Did you really think they'd let anyone just walk in? Wait a minute though, didn't she have a key earlier? Nice jump scare. So she goes through a door and down some stairs, down a long hallway. I have to admit, I don't know if it's intentional, but this vaguely reminds me of the labyrinth in Hellbound. She ends up in a passageway that gets tighter and tighter. Then, of course, her lighter goes out.
Fuck!
Actually reminds me a little of Resident Evil 7.
Jesus, fuck!
Yeah, I know they're obviously CG, but they still make me uncomfortable. Anyway, it continues to get tighter, and now she's stuck to the point that she can't move, which leaves her vulnerable. But that was another hallucination, including the tight hallway. I like to think that this guy was watching her the whole time and wondering why she was miming being trapped against the wall.
Follow me.
So the guy leads her straight to another ritual. This time it's a man being brought back from the dead. Good to know that Winter is an equal opportunity necromancer. So while these people get brought back to life, it appears that their wounds never heal, and I guess they're fine with that. Anyway, she follows Winter.
Amy Klein.
And it turns out that he knows who she is and
I chose you.
was basically behind her being there.
What is it?
You might say it's a family heirloom.
Oh.
Passed down through many generations. Left here as a gift. Don't think for 1 second that you are not in danger.
Hey, that's the line Pinhead said earlier. So he basically says a lot of purple prose that doesn't amount to much that we didn't already know. He seems to think he's some kind of messiah who can bring people back from the darkness after they've committed suicide. But he needs her help for some reason. She accuses him of doing something terrible to Marla, but he claims that it was what she wanted.
She didn't want to become one of you. That's why she killed herself.
Marla will never really die because she's not really alive. The more she doubts, the deader she becomes.
Look who knows so much, huh?
I know what I saw in that room was real. Like this flesh.
You really think he wouldn't have a counter for that, considering what he said on the videotape? Her visions continue, and now it's becoming pretty clear that this girl was her and this man raped her. Apparently, Winter has been causing her to have that flashback. So now Amy is in the spot where the victims end up, and another ritual begins.
You opened the box. Now I need you to take the next step. The box and all its powers belong to me. Accept my gift.
Yeah, that's what they all say, am I right?
No more pain. Only pleasure.
But apparently that was all a hallucination. Except that her boot is muddy from earlier, so not all of it was.
Get it together.
Okay, so I'm well past the halfway point, and things are just starting to get interesting, so I'm gonna end part 1 here. Honestly, this movie is alright, so if you're interested in watching it, be sure to do that before I get to part 2.